Creator, I want you to say why you wanted to rear me as a black person and not a biracial person.
The world sees my family as black. The world sees all interracial people as black. In order for you to survive with credibility and expertise, you need to understand that the world sees you as black, so you must get used to that definition because it's going to be carried with you wherever you go. When people see other people, the first thing they see is color.
Welcome to One Drop Elopes with Moses and me, Benita Offset. Hi, I'm Benita Offset, the creator of One Drop Elopes and highly compassionate activist whose life's journey since about 8 years old has been a strong desire to replace a racist system with a just system. One Drop Elopes is a weekly broadcast on IntellectualRadio-Podcast that streams live every Sunday at 12 noon Central. For unaware listeners, One Drop Elope is a constructive response, which is racism. This response includes 4 major categories, which are relating well to each other, dynamics. What's going on, son? How you doing today?
Hungry.
He wasn't feeling well this morning, so I said, no, you can't eat. The other 2 parts.
But I'm feeling better now, so can I eat?
It was over if you do a good job. You got to earn your food. Why are you looking like that?
Because I'm hungry.
He is looking hungry, isn't he? All right, so back to the 4 major categories relating well to each other. Oh, son, it's okay. Your tummy will be full later. Positive family dynamics. Son, producing more than consuming. As we create this radio show, we are encouraging other people to create things as well, and also support our fellow family and buying black. Just like I went to an event yesterday and I got this shirt. Look at this shirt. It says love. And it has an Africa that Moses has on. It was a awesome gathering, get together, beautiful music.
I thought it said live.
I thought it was saying live.
Because Africa looked like an eye.
Oh, it does. It does. It has like a little dot on the top, I guess. But anyway, so the 4th pillar is we're gonna study together, you all,
like Facebook Live.
Study the Neely Fuller book, The Anti-Racist Code, together. Anyway, these basic categories will be offered each month, respectively, through a wide array of perspectives, discussions, or presentations that showcase Black folk doing their part to pursue justice. One Drop Elopes will therefore continuously be a collective archive of constructive ways for Black folk to elope the white supremacist racist system. For One Drop Elopes is Benita's Homemade Things. Feel free to email Benita at benitaoffset@gmail.com to place an order or for more information. So thank you all for listening. Let's talk a little bit more about producing versus consuming. We have a brother coming in today. His name is Damon Jones, and he is an entrepreneur. He produces a lot of different things, great ideas as far as how we as a people can get better at starting our own businesses if that's what you want to do. Also, he has some good ideas at like fundamental ways of starting. In addition to that, I was talking with a friend of mine on the ride over here about, and there's a lot of us who don't have our own business, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to. I don't think that it is our responsibility to each and every Black person on earth to own their own business. But I think that it is our responsibility to support each other. So for instance, if you don't have your own business, but you are interested in maybe possibly to help someone else start one, then maybe that's something we get to talk about today too as well. Listening on Facebook at this time, we got Jason Fulton. Thank you for listening. Sean Manley. Went to high school with Sean. He's a real nice, cool dude. Thank you for listening from both of you. We again, as I've said before, we are talking about entrepreneurship today. And if you all have any questions or comments, please post those thread so that we can ask our guest.
I have a question. Where's our radio show guest?
Our guest is on his way. he has to travel from far away. He's got a lot of different work that he's doing, and he did contact me and notify me. He did also say that he would text me when he gets here. So do you want to be in charge of that, Moses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What type of work does he do?
He does everything.
And
So, for instance, he sells a one of his products is life coaching. People help themselves. Another product is like he makes these little, not scarves, but hey, there's Enrico is on there too. Hey, how you doing? He makes these, like when a man puts a suit on and then he puts this little thing inside the suit. Do you know what that is, Moses?
bow tie, flowers.
Yeah, something like that. Like not like little accessory type things that.
The thing that they put inside their suit that's like kind of red. That
The pocket. Yeah.
That put the red pocket.
Yeah.
I can't know.
I don't know what it's called either, because I'm not a man. I'm a woman. I don't do that.
But I'm a man. I know what it is.
Maybe I should know. I'm sure there's a lot of sisters out here who know that stuff, but I'm not into fashion either, so I don't know. But it's like a handkerchief, I think is what it is. It's like one of them kind of things. Like he makes those and little ties and stuff. The other thing that I know that he does is he has CDs and he's got a book out. Oh, pocket. Yeah, they put it in the pocket. He's like pocket buddy. So yeah, and stuff looking nice and everything.
Your little pocket buddy.
Like the handkerchief, the hanky, right? Then he has CDs. He makes music, or he takes like rap and poetry and puts it together behind music to kind of get a point across. So writes book. So he has a book, and I think he's going to bring the book with him today and talk about the book. But the book that he's talking about, or the book that he just recently wrote, is that Fundamentals of Entrepreneurship. And I know some of the questions that I have for him, I myself would want to know, but I want to be able to tap into what the audience would want to know as well. Like there may be some people out there who already have their own businesses and they're already successful in doing that well. And so they may want to ask him something different. My fundamental question for him, though, would be how to get that started, like how to kick that off. And I could also as well. Do you have any questions? What kind of questions would you have for him, Moses?
You just answered half of my question. Is that all that he does?
I don't think so.
You said everything.
Everything. So
does he make football?
Entire song. I think it'd be a good time for us to play the song, because he talks about what type of work he does in the song.
But I thought the song was just work.
You did hear that song, didn't you? But then there's the other song where he says, I'm handling my business. I'm about my business. Phillips said that he has a great
business, work.
Right, he got two songs. So Phillips said that he has a great book, and we teach our people to do for ourselves and teach our children. Absolutely. So Earl, let's play his song that I'm handling my business song, so I can kind of give an idea of stuff that he does do, answering Moses' question.
It's time to handle my business. I told you before, when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Yeah, that I handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before, when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. On the road to the riches, I gotta handle my business and grind until I get it, man. You already know. Got my ducks lined up, all in a row. When you invest in me, you involved with a pro. Walk through the door, got everybody watching me while I'm making the broccoli. You know it ain't no stopping me. My psychology, overall mentality, and my philosophy is be about no apologies. A lot of things be envious and jealous, cause I'm way out of your league, and I can tell it. If I get it for the low in the streets, I'ma sell it. Turn it from a handful of seeds to watermelons. My pocket is swelling, nobody can stop it. I cannot wait to go make a deposit. Gotta rotate my suit to make space in my closet. Call me a god every day, I make profit. Yeah! In the book of dollar bills about skills, if you will, turn to the first page, where it says thou shalt make out their money, multiply and try not to spend it in the worst way. Be not like those who were thirsty. So broken these streets need first aid. What I say is not a joke, that's wordplay. Tell them I hate to see you later. Gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Yeah, gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Yeah, gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Documentation beats conversation. Doing me, myself, and I is my occupation. Plus, I got products all across the nation. So busy on my grind, I got no time for hating. Why y'all keep waiting? Make something happen. Do demonstrations on how to take action. Nothing replaces dedication and passion. That's why my statements get the greatest reaction. Captain of my ship, king of my destiny. Kind as a killer, you don't want to mess with me. You can do it if I give you the recipe. Generate wealth and then create a legacy. Laughing my way to the bank, going hard in the paint. That's what you think. I do what I can and you can't. Stay in your lane. Watch how I'm bringing the pain. I mean, it's pain when I spit. When it come to entertaining, y'all know I'm banging out here. Gotta say Damon is lit, and I know how to throw rappers down in the bottom of the pit as I sit at the top of the list. Gotta get rich. Being broke is not an option. I'm on a mission, focused and I'm locked in. So don't you come against it, you cannot win. I mean, gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Yeah, gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Yeah, gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Business is warfare. Just look at the enemy's kind of worry. Doing what's never been done before, like Game 7 with LeBron and Curry. The down to hurry up and throw a flurry of punches and blows at all of my foes. Every day gotta stay on my toes and come up with them undebatable blows. I am a pro, so continuously I will step on these lanes. Tell them to put some respect on my name, or they gon' deal with different levels of pain. Never complain, it's part of the game. God told me the game is yours. When you do something they can't ignore, you know just what you entertaining for. When it rains, it pours. So Iron Man is a train for war. Winning every inning from the beginning, I gotta come in and then change the score. I'm a dangerous force, spitting in flames galore. Every time I get a mic, I'ma go so pro-black on the track. When I rap, you would think it's made out of hematite. Gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business. Yeah, gotta handle my business. Yeah, it's time to handle my business. I told you before when I come through the door, my hustle for sure. I handle my business.
Thank you for calling Icon Enterprises, where we offer quality products and services. Right. Some of our products include our world famous chocolate shaker, body oils, Icon Black Soap, car spray, incense, burning oils, lotions, body sprays, and more. And we even have some sale prices available. We also offer live performances, motivational consulting, personal unarmed.
I'm back right now. All right. Hi, this is Benita Offset, and you're back on One Drop Elopes on IntellectualRadio.com. And we got our brother online, but he is in the middle of some other things. So we're gonna let you go. Brother Damon, just say real high quick to the people, and then we're gonna let you go until you get here so that you can come in and talk. And we're gonna keep trying to come up with some questions before you arrive.
Peace and blessings to everybody. Much love to Miss Benita.
Much love
and
to you.
I can't wait to dig into this conversation. I'm sure everybody's going to get something up out of it, including myself.
Okay, then, my brother. All right, thank you. We'll see you when you get here.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. All right. So we also are going to call another brother friend of ours who is also working hard all the time. And he's on Facebook Live with us. Yes, Black, if you're still there listening, please call in. The number is 708-223-8953. We'd love for you to join our discussion. Number is 708-223-8953. my biggest question would be like, how to get started? You know, I had this question once before. I called it the producing versus consuming, and I kept asking the question repeatedly. And the question then was, I've, I know I have these skills, but I'm not so sure how to monetize these skills. Hold on, I think this is my brother here. Okay, hello. You're on One Drop Elopes with Benita Asset. Who's this?
What's up, beautiful? How are you? Good afternoon.
Hey, Black. How you doing? That's my.
I'm doing all right. And to Mr. Moses, how you doing, young man?
Good.
That's good. That's good. You know, beautiful topic, entrepreneurship, especially when it relates to the Black community. You know, I'm thinking that the wealth that passes through our hands. When you look at many other cities, you see a Chinatown. You see a little Italy. You see a Lithuania, but there's no Black town, and we spend, an amazing amount of money, so much so that foreigners come into our community and actually become rich off the dollars that we spend and send their children to college, while we struggle to send our children to college. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, and it's something that we don't learn about from our home, and we don't learn about in school enough.
I totally agree. It's really difficult when you didn't start from it. I'm bringing Moses with me to this thing every Sunday is to give him an idea early on. At 11 years old, I think that I'd been a much different person in response to entrepreneurship if it was something that I was doing from a child or since I was child, right? Like very different for what I'm doing now with my own son. When I was a child, the first thing that was told to me was go to school, get a good education, get a good job. Go to school, get a good education, get a good job. And so I guess I'm just trying to change the mindset in my child. And I think that we need to start changing the mindset of our people too, to increase how much we produce. I feel like we need to save more, produce more, not just consume up everything.
It's interesting because I didn't get into entrepreneurship into a mindset until I became a teenager, and I got turned on to the Nation of Islam and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, I am not in the sense that is my religion. I am not registered as a member of the Nation of Islam, but what they give to our community and the mindset that they give to the men who actually listen to the teachings is breaking that mindset of white supremacy. That in order for something that's good, it has to come from someone who looks other than ourselves. In order for us to be successful, we have to look like, we have to sound like, and we have to do like people of other nationality, mainly Caucasian people. The only thing that we don't think that we can do that they do is go to school, get an education, and come out and start a business for ourselves. But that is based on a lot of the dependency that was instilled in our people during slavery. If you think about it, the slave master will say, hey, you go over there and you sleep with this black female slave, and you have a baby, which will be my property. Once that baby is born, the slave master removed the responsibility of taking care of that child, and then it became upon the slave master to take care of that child and that woman while she was pregnant, because he wanted to make sure that he had a healthy product that was coming out of that woman. Fast forward 100 years later, the mentality has been the same in our community, where men would sleep with women, have children, responsibility, not all, but many, devoid of their responsibility, and the government has taken place of the slave master, where now the government assistance programs takes the place of a father providing for that mother and that child. So again, the mentality has to be talked about, it has to be pointed out, it has to be worked on, and we have to start to change when it comes to the mentality that we have. Now, the drug dealers got the mentality. The drug dealers got the entrepreneurship mentality because they know the art of buying wholesale. So you can't say that our people can't learn it, or that we don't know how to do it, or we're not intelligent enough to do it. It's being done every day, especially on some means criminal activity. And then you got some men and women, black men and women, who have said, okay, well, look, I'm learning the trend of what other come into our community. Let me go see where they buy wholesale at. Let me go and research and look up the policies and the procedures and the zoning. Can I open up a beauty salon in this community? There's zoning acts that you have to look at, to see if it's okay for you to open up certain things in certain communities. And then the main thing is just to provide the service for your community. You know that we have to eat every day. Okay, that's food. We have to wear clothing. We have to brush our teeth and we have to wash ourselves. Toothpaste, soap, and water. And water. We have to drink water, and alkaline water is a big thing today. So providing the services that our people need is one of the essential keys and the things that we need in order to become entrepreneurs, or even teaching our young people to become entrepreneurs.
Well, Black, for those of you all who just tuned in, you on One Drop Elopes with Benita and Moses on IntellectualRadio.com. And that was my brother, Black Ice, giving us dropping that knowledge for us. Thank you so much. The things that I think I'm wanting or having questions about is, how does a person get started? And that's what our guests might be able to say to us too. But let's get your perspective on that. Like, how do you get started with switching that mindset? Does it begin with loving yourself? Does it begin with abandoning slavery traditions? Or where does it begin?
Okay, and that question is for me, right, sis?
Yes.
Well, I think Black nationalism. Now, we coin all different kinds of phrases. So I'm going to use the word Black nationalism. And then, for the folks who are not aware of it, so what are you saying? We need to be anti-white? Quite the contrary. Loving yourself don't mean that you're anti-anybody. Black nationalism was really brought to us in a major way. It was before him, but brought to us by Marcus Garvey. And Marcus Garvey had the belief that if there's a school system in your community, the Black community, it needs to be ran by Black people. If there are banks in the Black community, it needs to be ran by Black people. If there are businesses in your community, it needs to be ran by Black people. Doing for yourself, not depending on other people to do for you what you can do for yourself. And also, at the end of the day, if Asians and white folks and Arabs and everybody else decided that we don't want to serve you anymore and they walked away from our community today, how many people will starve to death? Because we wouldn't know what to do. So the first thing that we have to do is teach our children Black nationalism, providing the goods and services for your own community. The second thing that we have to do is study history and study the trends of other people. How were they able to come to this country and open up a business? And we've been here for over 400 years. And we're looking at everybody else opening up shops and stores in our community. When you go and get your gas, who are you getting it from? The Arabs. Going to ask people, you say, hey, I need my grass cut. The majority of people that's cutting grass in the Black community now is Hispanic people. Then you move over, who are you getting your money from? From the banks, the Gentiles, Caucasian people. So all the way up and down the board, if you look at everything that we need and that we want, we got to go to other people to get it. So we have to condition the minds of our children to think nationalistic. How can I provide the services and goods for my own people in my own community? That's number one. Now, what I did in 1992, open up a business in my own community, a jewelry store. How did I come on to choose that as what I wanted to do? Well, after I graduated from high school, I started working for Rogers and Hollins. Okay. After working for Rogers and Hollins, I used to work for a Silvermax jewelry store in Chicago Ridge on 95th and Ridgeland. I learned all the intricacies of the business that I worked for. And I said, man, they're not doing anything that I can't do. All I need to know is where they get their stuff from. Who are their wholesalers? So eventually, I went up and down 64th and Halsted, and I found another business who was willing to rent me a space inside of their business. And what turned me on to that was looking at the trend where KFC and Taco Bell were blending businesses together. Burger King and BP, they were blending businesses together. So in my mind, I'm like, well, what better way to start than to blend the business that I want to open with an existing business who can rent me space? And that's what I end up doing. Every store that I was working for, their wholesalers became my wholesalers, and it was white folks that helped me.
Well, thank you, Black, for
some of my own people wouldn't give me the information that I was seeking to buy wholesale. They wanted me to go through them, and then they go through the wholesaler. When the white folks was like, hey, I'll take you with me, or take this number, tell them I sent you. And the Koreans gave me the information to buy from their wholesalers. So don't get so stuck on Black. Be stuck on Black when it comes to the services and goods of your community, but don't be so stuck on Black when you're trying to find out information to get what you need to get in order to serve your community. So that's how I started Benita and Moses opening up my own business. What's up, Jerome?
Okay, well, Black, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Our guest has arrived, so I want to give him an opportunity to answer some questions, and we got to go to a real quick break for station announcements. And go ahead, my brother Moses. Okay. So thanks. I'm going to chat with you later. Okay, Black?
Absolutely, and thank you guys so much. Let's say peace and blessings to the best host on Intellectual Radio, Benita Offset, my girl, and Moses. Peace and blessings.
Okay.
Yay!
Peace and blessings.
Thank you for listening to One Drop Elopes on IntellectualRadio.com, hosted by me and my mom. One Drop Elopes is a constructive response to white supremacy, which is racism. We want to see everyone free. Everyone free. One Drop Elopes is on air every Sunday at 12 noon Central. The chief sponsor for One Drop Elopes is Benita's Homemade Things, where you get scrumptious cakes, delicious cookies, and cold flats and scarves. You can go calling at 708-233-8953, 708-233-8953 to share your thoughts and opinions.
All right.
Now back to your show.
Thank you, Moses. Okay, we're here with Damon Jones, and he has arrived. Thank you so much, my brother. He's made music and books and entrepreneur in a lot of different ways. And so because our time is very limited, I want to give you your piece. What the big question that I was having is, how do you get started? And I know that you're very good with that kind of the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, but there may be some other things that you want to share with the people.
Thank you, first of all, for having me. And the very first thing that I would say that a person needs is the proper mindset. Mindset just means, what is your mind set on that it is that you want to do? Once you have that, you have your starting point. The second thing is to begin with where you are with whatever resources you currently have. It's okay to dream big, but big dreams are made up of small benchmarks. And oftentimes we are not as resourceful as we should be, even though we have things all around us, and we don't use and take advantage of what's sitting right there. So that is how I would begin. That's how I actually started. And from there, you can build step by step whatever it is that you have in your mind ultimately to accomplish.
Start
with where you are.
Start with where you are.
With what you have.
With what you have. And
the mindset that you can do it. Because a lot of us, we talk ourselves out of doing something. We come up with every reason why we can't do it. How we can, or how we can. And we ask ourselves disempowering questions.
That's kind of like how Black started it off. He said that one of the ways that he was able to start was to change that mindset.
Absolutely.
Like listening to the Nation of Islam saying that you can do this, you're powerful, you're a great person type of thing. And that's kind of what kicked it off for him. And then that also reminded me of this book that I read called From Slavery, Booker T. Washington. Mm-hmm. And what he was saying is that when we first He was born a slave, but he was only maybe about 5 or 6 or something like that. He didn't even know his real age, but he knew that when slavery ended, Emancipation Proclamation, that people didn't know how to. He said everybody knew how to do everything. Like, so for instance, the masters, they didn't know how to work the land, they didn't know how to sew, they didn't know how to cook, right? But people weren't actually, for some reason, they had all of these skills, they were able to produce all of this stuff, but instead of it turning into a lot of businesses for us, it turned into a lot of debt. Why do you think that is?
When you deal with sports, they say the game is 90% mental,
Okay.
10% physical. So we have many gifts, skills, and talents in our communities. We can do everything. We don't have the mindset to do it for ourselves. We've been trained and conditioned to build for others and to disbelieve in the God, as I say in another book I got coming out. I'll just keep writing and keep doing stuff. But I say that we believe in every God imaginable except the one within ourselves. Don't talk to us about that one. Right? That one don't have enough money. That one's not the right size. That one don't have enough schooling. About that God that's within us. We rather be fascinated by a God in outer space, some God that we can't see or give the power to an eloquent speaker.
So then how do we change that mindset?
You have to begin by feeding on the right knowledge that teaches you something about your history, something about your potential. It is filled with all types of people of all races, creeds, and colors who have overcome overwhelming odds. And I would say get into the personal stories of successful people. And if you see how they started, it gives you an indication of how you could start.
And that's what you've done here with this book?
Absolutely. I wanted to write a book. Case in point, I didn't have the money to write the book, but in September of 2017, I said, I'm going to write a book. Who to call, where to go, how to start, but I knew how to speak. So I typed up, I said, well, if I did write a book, what would it be? I came up with the title. I came up with the chapters. Then I broke the chapters down. I've been to school before, I can write. So did I cover everything I wanted to say? Okay, on to chapter 2. When I got all of the book wrote on Microsoft Word, first I wrote it by hand in my notebook. I said, this is going to take me forever. So then I began to dictate into my phone. Then I typed on my phone. Then I converted what I typed, copied and pasted into the Word document. Then I said, well, what's the next step? I don't know. So guess what I did? I called one of my best friends, Google, and I said, hey, Google, how do people write books? What do you do? Then I called Google's cousin, YouTube. And YouTube, people on there saying, here's the steps you take. Just writing a book, fine, we can help you. So you have unlimited resources.
Yeah, this is definitely the information age.
To do anything. So information is what gold was. Information. But it's not just information, because information is everywhere. You don't just want knowledge, you want specified knowledge. Knowledge that is particular to what it is you want to do. So I looked and I started running into people. I was calling numbers on the back of books. Hey, who can get me started? Right answers. And someone very close to me told me, well, they know somebody that's wrote a lot of books. Why don't you give them a call? I called that person and they said, well, I'll charge you X amount of dollars. And that's how the process started. And by a month and a half later, put in process to be made.
So what I'm hearing you say is love yourself and tap into the resources that you already have. So for instance, you didn't know how to write a book, but you loved yourself enough to write one. The resource you had was a smartphone. So you use your smartphone to help you write the book.
So I hadn't spent any money at this point.
Right. You use
no money.
Google. Okay.
Google, and their cousin YouTube.
Right.
Then the brothers say, well, I'm going to need a $200 deposit.
What's the $200 deposit for?
That was to get started for the typesetting, the formatting, the editing, the copywriting, everything that went into making a book. So I said, well, I can handle 200. And then I got him the deposit. That bought me more time to get the balance. And I started learning about the process of how to make a book. And next thing you know, I wanted the book to be out in October. Started in September and be ready in October. But that shows you how I think that I can do it all in 30 days. No problem. Not understanding the process. So everything is always on the job training.
Do you think you work the process faster than most people would?
Absolutely. And
so the whole entire process still took you how long?
From September of inception of actually writing until December, the middle of December. So 2.5 months. And it only took that long because changes were being made from editing, the cover art. Every time you make a change, you got to go back, and the wait process sometimes starts over.
Are you your own editor?
I assisted in the editing, because if it's your project, nobody knows what you want better than you. Like, you have wonderful earrings on. I could just see people buying those earrings. Nice. I'm going to assume that you made them.
No, I did not make these earrings.
Oh man, those things. Whoever made them, shout out to them.
David has been talking to me ever since we've met about how I need to make my own earrings.
She's playing around.
Because I crochet, you all. You know I crochet.
You can't make crocheted earrings.
Yes, you can.
Yes, she can.
So that's what he's asking me repeatedly to utilize and the resources that I have available to me to come up.
It's called the SWOT technique. Start with what is available today.
Excuse me, how do you make crochet earrings?
I just knew that I was going to see a pair of them when I walked in here today. Because in the time it took me to write a book, the master crochet queen has not crocheted a pair of crocheted earrings. Somebody take the wheel.
Oh, okay.
See, procrastination is a big enemy that we have. And procrastination hides behind this thing called...
See, you're absolutely right. Because one of the things you also shared with me is that, look, you have, 160 some? How many hours do we have in a week?
168.
Okay, so we got 168 hours in the week. And most of that time, I am probably on somebody else's job or something like that, or working or whatever. But one of the things that you said to me, which is, I don't know why I still haven't done it, but you was like, look, just tell yourself you got an hour. Just set the timer, you got an hour, at least work on it for 1 hour.
You have to make the time. You got the same 24 hours that Bill Gates has. The same 24 that Oprah Winfrey has. The same 24 that Les Brown and Barack Obama has.
And what am I
the difference is, what are we doing with the time that we are given?
So are you saying that successful people are better with their time?
Successful people have a different mindset. They start with the mindset. They know what they want. Anthony Robbins said, this is the ultimate success formula. Step 1. It's only 4 steps, he said.
Okay. Well,
Step 1, know your outcome. 95% of people don't know what they want. You ask a person that, what do you want? They'll start telling you what they don't want. If they say they want money, they won't tell you an amount. You say, well, I want some money. I'll give you 20 cents.
That's right.
That's money when you said money.
Step 1.
So they're not specific. Know your outcome. Step 2, take massive action. So even if they know what they want, they don't take action. It just sits there. I want a car. 10 years, I want a car. I always wanted to go mountain climbing.
Yeah, like your idea about the book. I don't know how. It's probably been a good 20 years that I keep telling myself I should write a book.
See, you're just sitting there waiting.
Right.
At the starting gate. 20 years to do something that you could do in 20 days.
Okay, outcome. Get started.
Take massive action.
Take massive action.
Massive.
Okay, what's number 3?
Step 3, develop sensory acuity, or to put that in layman's terms, works and what doesn't. That's step 3. Because nothing's going to happen exactly the way you plan it when you go at it the first time anyway, especially if you've never done it.
Yeah, like with your example with the book. You thought you was going to be done in a month.
I knew what I wanted. Step 1.
You took the action.
Step 2, massive action. Start writing. Where did I start writing? In a notebook. In cursive. Notice, this is going to take me a long time to write a chapter. What did I do? I changed the approach, which is step 4. Change your approach until you get what you want.
Okay, real quick.
4 steps.
Going back to the number 3 with the sensory thing, I'm a little lost there. So explain that to me.
Pay attention to what works.
Okay.
Is this working? I want to make earrings, but they're not coming out right. So what do I need to do to adjust to get these earrings the way I want them?
All right.
I'm missing a little hook. I don't have the right needle. Well, you get the right needle. You get the right hook. Now make the earrings. If you can make 1, you can make 10. If you can make 10, you can make 100. So it starts with 1.
Okay, my brother, tell us about this book. What's all in here?
This book is called I Work, 12 Keys to Doing Something for Yourself. It started with me recording an album called I Work, because that's what I do. I work. Nothing happens. Nothing works without work.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that we do not do. So it started as a song, I Work.
We're going to play that song.
And that became it's like my theme music. Every superhero should have a theme music.
So that's your theme music?
That's my theme music. I Work.
You got that real nice that trap beat behind it too.
Come on, man. You got to work. I was in a rap competition last night. Didn't get home to 3 a.m. Been on a conference call all the way here. It's work. And the day is Sunday. So the book gives you practical step-by-step guidelines on how to do whatever it is you want to do. It gives you the fundamentals that I have followed consistently, regardless to what it is that you want to accomplish. So I have a goal this year, 4 books and 4 new albums this year. That's just between the books and the music.
All right, my
brother.
brother.
Not counting the other stuff.
Well, there's so much more that we could talk about with this. We're going to have you come back, okay?
Absolutely.
Sometime when you're not in the middle of a conference call, maybe. So one of the things that I want to say to the people is thank you so much for listening. We got our Facebook Live listeners. We got the YouTube listeners. We got those who have downloaded the broadcast on Spreaker or iTunes. And thank you very much. Thanks to our guest, Damon Jones. We really appreciate you for coming. And thank you, Moses, for being on point. We are here on One Drop Elopes on IntellectualRadio.com. We're going to have Moses close us out. You're going to say the piece. And then when Moses is done, we're going to play your song at the end, okay? Go ahead, Moses. Say your piece.
Peace.
Oh, that mercy. I'm working. Come on, General. Let's get it together.
Thank you for listening to One Drop Elopes on IntellectualRadio.com, hosted by me and my mom. One Drop Elopes is on air every Sunday at 12 noon Central. One Drop Elopes is a constructive response to white supremacy, which is based on we want to see everyone free. The chief sponsor for One Drop Elopes is Beniz Homemade Things for Cakes, Jewish cookies, and colorful hats and scarves. Call in 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953 to share your thoughts and opinions. Now back to our show.
You don't have to say it so fast, Moses. All right. Thank you, Earl. We appreciate everything that you do for us on IntellectualRadio.com.
Work is force times distance. So if you ain't moving nothing, you ain't proving nothing. But me, I work. Plan my work, I work. Then I work my plan, I work. Fresh field double S, yes, I work. That's who and what I am, I work. I work. I work, I work, I work. I said I work. I work. I work, I work, I work. Plan my work, I work. Then I work my plan, I work. Fresh field double S, yes, I work. That's who and what I am, I work. I work. I work, I work, I work. I said I work. I work. I work, I work, I work. Now, let me show you how to get dough. Cause I've been doing for myself from the get-go. Kill it with a sick flow. So be careful whenever you step to me tiptoe. It's so amazing the way I leave the microphone blazing. Wow, some of y'all keep hating, sleeping on me like I work at the day.
blazing, but I stay wide awake, never clocking out, always putting in overtime. Guaranteed I'ma find a way to get the dollar, and I gotta make it hollow in the quarter line. I'm in control of mine, when the money in the flow of mine, everything's so divine. Got the game on lock, and I ain't gonna stop. Watch how I get it poppin' like a loaded 9. Cause I need them bands in my hand, but I never go savage for cabbage. When status is way above average, I will let you have it. The tongue is fully automatic. See, I cannot make enough. Your kind is a laborer stacking the paper up. I'm a beast when I speak on these beats. I'm determined to eat in these streets at the table up. Plan my work, I work. Then I work my plan, I work. Fresh field double S, yes, I work. That's who and what I am, I work. I work, I work, I work, I work. I said I work, I work, I work, I work, I work. Plan my work, I work. Then I work my plan, I work. Fresh field double S, yes, I work. That's who and what I am, I work. I work, I work, I work, I work. I said I work, I work, I work, I work, I work. Now, IWORK on the GSAB and it is sachet. My flow butter, no parquet. Cooking the competition, saute. I'm on the mission all night and all day. Couldn't care less about what y'all say. Albums be about nothing, Wale. Claiming you hard, but you soft for Sade. Make no mistake on me, I do not play. Got a chopper to knock off your block when I spray. Better be careful and watch what you say before they discover your body decay. K to the H to the A to the N. Bars like I went straight to the pen. Star fights, let the hating begin. When the God strikes, ain't no way you can win. Because a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a rhyming connoisseur. I remember back when I was poor, now a wholesaler and retailer, I got a store. Woo! I'm on it like Mark